You can train your mind to be wealthy and happy, or you can train your job to give you more money. But here's the secret truth. Real wealth and happiness don't come from working harder at your job. They come from working harder on yourself. When you focus on building your mindset, skills, and habits every single day, you unlock an unlimited potential within yourself that compounds over time. Eventually, you reach a point where you have enough money to do whatever you want and live a life of freedom and fulfillment. That's why it's so important to invest in your own personal development. This is not something that your school or university taught you because they want you to go out there and get a job so that they can make money by selling degrees. You see, there are two paths in life. The first path is the path that most people take. They wake up early, work all day, eat junk food, scroll on social media, and fall asleep late. They get good at their job, and maybe one day they get promoted and earn a little bit more money. But at the end of the day, they're still working hard for someone else's dream. The second path is less traveled, but it's also less competitive. Instead of focusing all your energy on your job, you can choose to focus on yourself. Every single morning when you wake up before everyone else, you can start working on your mindset, your skills, and your habits. As the day goes on, you become better and better, and eventually you become so good that you're able to quit your job and start working for yourself. And this is the real secret to wealth and happiness. There are three main areas that you need to work on if you want to be wealthy and happy. The first is your mindset. This means changing the way you think about money, success, and yourself. You see, most people have a scarcity mindset. They always think that there's not enough money to go around, and that they'll never be rich. This is why they stay poor. If you want to break out of this cycle, then you need to adopt an abundance mindset. This means thinking positively about the future and believing that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. When you have an abundance mindset, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. You become more creative, more innovative, and more successful. Now let me tell you a story about two men who were shipwrecked on a desert island. Both men were scared and lonely, but after a while, one of them started to explore the island. He looked around and saw all the beautiful things that surrounded him, like the crystal clear water, the lush green trees, and the white sandy beaches. He started to feel grateful for being alive and realized that he was truly blessed. The other man, on the other hand, stayed in his little camp and complained all day long. Said things like, "I'm so unlucky to be stuck on this island. Why did this happen to me? I'll never get out of here." As you can imagine, the first man adapted to his new environment much faster than the second man. He was able to find food and shelter and make a life for himself on the island. The second man, on the other hand, wasted away from hunger and sadness. So even though both men were faced with the same situation, the first man made the best out of it and survived, while the second man complained and died. So remember, brothers, no matter what happens in life, always try to see the positive side of things. Always be grateful for what you have, and never give up hope. The second area that you need to work on is your skills. This means learning new things and improving your existing abilities. Most people don't understand this, but they should. The truth is that there will always be someone younger, stronger, or smarter than you. There will always be someone who knows more than you, or can work harder than you. So if you want to stay ahead of the competition, you need to keep learning and improving all the time. But here's the best part. When you invest in your own education, the return on investment is massive. The more you learn, the more you earn. The more valuable you become to society, the more money you can make. And this is how you become truly wealthy. It's not about working harder for your boss. It's about working harder on yourself. Let me tell you a story about a farmer who had a son. The farmer worked hard all day, every day, to provide for his family. He taught his son everything he knew about farming, but the son was lazy and unmotivated. One day the farmer decided to pass on his farm to his son, but he didn't give him the entire farm. Instead, he gave him a small part of it and told him to manage it. The son was angry and frustrated because he felt that his father wasn't giving him enough land. But the farmer said, "If you can double the size of this field in 1 year, I'll give you the rest of the farm." The son thought about it and realized that he didn't know how to double the size of the field, but he was determined to prove his father wrong. So he started to study farming and learned everything he could about it. He experimented with different crops and techniques, and at the end of the year, he presented his results to his father. The son had doubled the size of the field, and his father kept his promise and gave him the rest of the farm. The son became a great farmer, and the legacy continued. So remember, don't complain about what you don't have. Work hard on what you do have, and the results will surprise you. And the third area that you need to work on is your habits. This means doing things every day that make you better as a person. It's very important to understand the power of compound interest. This is a concept that was first used in the world of finance, but it can also be applied to your personal life. Let's say that you read one book every month. In 1 year, you'll have read 12 books. In 5 years, you'll have read 60 books. And in 10 years, you'll have read 120 books. Imagine the amount of knowledge and experience you'll have gained by reading all those books. You'll be a completely different person. So this is the power of compound interest. When you do something consistently over time, the results are exponential. For example, let's say that you want to improve your fitness level. So you start going to the gym every day and working out. At first, you might not see any changes, but as you keep working out, you start feeling stronger and healthier. Before you know it, you've transformed your body and mind. Or let's say that you want to improve your social skills, so you start talking to more people and making friends. At first, you might feel awkward and uncomfortable, but as you keep practicing, you become more confident and charming. Before you know it, you're able to talk to anyone and make them feel special. So these are just 2 examples, but there are infinite possibilities. Whatever you focus on and do consistently will eventually add up and make a big difference in your life. So remember, brothers, true wealth and happiness don't come from working harder at your job. They come from working harder on yourself. When you focus on building your mindset, skills, and habits every single day, you unlock an unlimited potential within yourself that compounds over time. And eventually you reach a point where you have enough money to do whatever you want and live a life of freedom and fulfillment. Now, since you made it this far, I want to share with you a free gift. It's called the 30-Day Abundance Challenge. This is a series of 30 videos that will help you reprogram your mind to think in an abundant way. In fact, some people have watched this challenge and completely changed their lives. Others have found unexpected sources of income. Still, others have started successful businesses. So if you're ready to take action and transform your life, then click the link below and start the challenge today. Don't wait any longer. Start today and see what happens in 30 days.